I told you guys I was coming with speech content, so here it is. To my channel. My name is Karina and I am an Slpa who shares my family, speech, and lifestyle here on YouTube. Today I'm actually sharing with you guys more about my first year regrets, and I'm actually gonna go through my first year supplies or things I used prior to COVID and prior to 2020, because I want to share with you guys that I feel like I bought so much, and I'm gonna show you what to get, what not to get, what worked for me, what didn't. Now, quick disclaimer, like, this doesn't mean this is the only and the right way to do it. Obviously, get what you think is going to work best for you, what you think you may need for your job. However, I know now that I very much overdid it my first year. I don't use half of these items. These were literally stored in my room and I haven't touched them for a while now. So I don't carry all this stuff with me, but I'm gonna share with you guys what I do. So I'm gonna kind of start with the bulky stuff because, to be completely honest, I am not for the bulky stuff. As you guys know, I used to switch from schools to schools and I don't have a secure space every single time that I'm there. So me having like a shelf full of binders or me having a shelf full of speech therapy supplies isn't ideal. It's something I would like, but it's just not what happens every year for me. However, this year I'm going to be at one school, so yes, I could get a shelf and stuff, but I'm not going to, because again, I'm gonna be back and forth picking up kids, and some days I might be, you know, with middle school and high school, one day I might be with elementary, so I'm still not gonna do that. I don't want to carry huge binders with me in a backpack that is just gonna be there for a couple of hours, and then I'm gonna have to switch it. Luckily, I do have like a little thing up on the wall where it can hold papers, and that's gonna be like my storage for papers if I need. In no way is it going to be like documents of any sort. It's going to be papers like for activities. I gave too much of an introduction for that. I have this binder here that literally says speech, and I can tell you right now, it's empty. It's empty. I don't think you need more than one binder. This was intended to be my very first one and intended for me to keep all of my goals in here. However, before 2020, I was keeping all of the goals in here, and then once we moved to online and stuff, of course, I didn't find it very useful to be flipping through a bunch of papers to look for goals. So I actually have all of the goals for every student that I see on my computer, as well as my SLP's computer. So if for whatever reason my computer, something goes wrong and I don't have access to these goals, I know my SLP does. She keeps them in a hard drive and stuff like that. So if I need to find it, I know that I can find it with her. So my number one tip would be to keep all of your students, like the caseload, the list of students that you see and their goals and their minutes on your computer. You don't have to necessarily print it out. If that's for you, go ahead and do it. I know now it's not for me. It didn't really help me. Ooh, okay, this one. So this one was also intended to be another speechy type of binder. This is a printout, I believe, from Teachers Pay Teachers. It says weekly theme calendar for speech therapy and kind of ideas on themes to go for each week, and they're divided into months. So September, for example, it says first week, back to school, then football, then pirates, then farm. This is actually really useful. I am going to keep this, but again, this binder is something I don't go to every day. Everything in here is supposed to be like for short reference and stuff, and I didn't want to be printing out all throughout the year every single time. Oh, this is super helpful. Wow. So here, this was actually given to me by my SLP. This is an afternoon schedule, and you can print out things here to put here and make it helpful for the student that you're providing services to. Here I also have a little, like, what is this called? Key ring holder, card holder, and I have all these little printouts with pictures on them. Listen, sit at the table. This is also something I don't carry, but again, this is something very specific. It's, if I'm gonna need it, I will pick it up that day, or those few days that I'm gonna see this student, and then I'll take it with me. So this is something I will keep, you know, for the following year. Right, another example of overbuying. My very first year, I had no idea how I was going to memorize so many goals, how I was going to memorize so many faces, and how I was supposed to know, hey, Johnny is working on this, 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 that. It seemed so overwhelming to remember their age, their grade, their teacher, their goals. It seemed so overwhelming. So what I had done my first year was I got these sort of folders. It's crazy to say this. I used individual folders. It worked out. And in that individual folder was the student's name, student grade level, their teachers, their goals printed out. And then if we would do any activities throughout speech therapy, you know, we had their sign-in sheet in there. We had the color and practice if it was an articulation student, or if it was language, like some sort of language activity printout. That's what I did my first year, and I kept all of their stuff in their folder. If for whatever reason I was needing to give homework out, or if the parent was requesting, you know, extra practice at home or something, I would leave it in the folder and I would give it to them to take home. Now, my first year, again, it worked out very well. I got to know the students very well. They knew the protocols to come into the room. They grabbed their folder, they signed in, did what they had to do, and they just knew that was the expectation. My second year, though, I did not continue that because that was right after COVID. So it was kind of unsanitary, or I had a lot of kids online, half in person, some were doing both, you know, remote and in person. So it was way too much to do the folders. Last year, my third year, I also did not continue with the folders because of the spacing. I was like, I'm not gonna be carrying these folders from one place to the next. It's too much. This year, I also don't think I'm gonna do the folders because I remember at the end of my first year, who took the folders home? Me. I didn't send these home with them and say, oh, showcase this, you know, to your family, show them what you did. I had to do a lot of stuff with this paperwork anyway. So it just was like double work for me. I'm not gonna do that this year. These here, I do recommend. I bought this my first year because, again, when I would print out things for the students to work on, this was a quick way to just have them like draw on it with a dry erase marker and then erase it, and I get to reuse it over and over instead of using a whiteboard or something like that. So these were awesome. It was kind of like my way to laminate things in a fast way. They're reusable. You can find them at Target, you can find them at Walmart, you can find them on Amazon, and they're pretty cheap. I just have so much extra stuff. None of this was necessary. You have this sort of clipboard, and then you open it and there's like an agenda. There's a little pocket folder here. I do recommend a sort of, what is this called? A sort of clipboard if you need, especially for schedules, the first couple weeks of school, if you work in a school, or just to get to know your kids, or, you know, take data like this if you want. There's so many ways to use a clipboard, obviously, but if this is your thing, go ahead and do it. Another random folder that I probably won't be using. Now let's get into the little things. I have this little basket here with a bunch of random items. I would like to say I use all of these, but I typically don't. I don't. I try to keep it really minimal in the space that I have. I do from time to time, not every day. I carry these sticky notes and then the glue sticks, white out if I need. This is just kind of necessary. I also have this little thing for paper clips that I sometimes take, especially around progress reports time, if I have to print them out and give them out to students, or if I have to get signature from my SLP on different documents and stuff, then I'll use the paper clips around that time. That's when I start putting it into my bag. If there's anything you take away from this video, it's to keep a passion planner with you. Now, I've talked about this in so many of my videos. I feel like Passion Planner is the absolute best planner out there. They give you weekly layouts, they give you a monthly layout, they give you a note section, they give you focus to work on every day of the week. There's so much you can do with Passion Planner, and I even have a code with them that I'll link in my description. You can get some money off. Seriously, investing in a good planner is the way to go. As an SLPA, there's so many things that just pop up out of nowhere, and I'm sure it's the same for SLPs. If you're an SLP and interested in a Passion Planner, definitely do this as well. Real fast. They have the weekly layout, right? But at the top, they also show you or ask you what's this week's focus, what are some good things that have happened this week. They put it off onto the side. And then up here every day, they ask you, you know, kind of think of an intention or something you want to focus on that day. And then you can fill out, this is why I really like it. You can fill out, you know, each time slot every hour, every 30 minutes if you want. Isn't that awesome? You get to write down your sessions. They give you a little motivation on this side over here, and then your to-do list, your work to-do list, personal to-do list. And then down here, it's just space for notes or anything you want to write, a mind map, whatever you want to do. But this goes literally from Sunday to Saturday. So I use this all year. It's been a lifesaver. That's all that I'm going through today. That's all of my old speech supplies. I'm really getting rid of a lot of old papers that I had. I'm just gonna put them in the recycle bin and get rid of them, but you get it, right? I'm getting rid of binders. I'm not taking that with me because I don't have a space. For sure, a big regret was just overbuying. Now that I'm looking at all the stuff that I bought, like I bought extra note cards, I bought this, and sure, my first year it worked, but in the long term, it's not something I really needed. I did feel very supported my first year by, you know, staff members and stuff like that, but I also want to just encourage you to try it out and see what you're capable of, because I promise you, you're probably thinking, you know, oh, I can't do this, it's so overwhelming, but just try to have some confidence. I can confidently say that, you know, after the first year, it gets a lot easier. And this is me going into my 4th year. I still feel like I'm still young, you know, I'm still very fresh into it, I'm still new. So it's not like, oh, I've been doing this 15 years. No. It's going into my 4th year in the school setting with the same, you know, group of kids and stuff, same goals. So I'm very confident in that I know what I'm doing, and I know I don't need to keep my stuff there. I don't need a bunch of binders all the time and kids asking me, what is that for? Can we do this and that? It's just, I like to be very minimalistic when it comes to my desk at work and my space. So that's what I'm gonna continue to do in the upcoming years. I do hope you got to learn something from this video. If you did like it, please make sure to give my video a like and subscribe to my channel as well. It'll mean so much to me, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye.